It's not a New Hampshireer. That doesn't sound right, but just New Hampshireite. I don't know. Um, Massachusetts is probably the most difficult one to figure out. Yeah, yeah, you're just from Massachusetts. However, the heckler said that that she was really struck by his racism and Islamophobia. Now, keep this in mind. This is a woman. She said that she wanted to make sure people remembered that he is a racist and that he's using it to rally voters and that she loves Muslims. Now, this is a woman. Why do I keep saying she's a woman? Do people really, you really understand how Muslims do not love? I'm convinced that Muslim men hate women. Look how they treat, nobody who loves women would treat them the way that religion and that political dynamic allows women to be treated. You just don't. You can't. I mean, and it is beyond me how an American woman could stand up there and call Donald Trump a racist simply because he simply said, look, does this stupid idiot of a woman understand and know that Donald Trump is not proposing something that is not heard of or has not been done before in this country by Democrats? That's the surprising part. Donald Trump is saying, well, hey, let's cut off immigrants from certain countries, Muslims, until we can figure out how to handle them better to make sure that we're not allowing in terrorists. And for that, he's been called a racist. But you've got Jimmy Carter, who's done the same thing. He deported Iranians during the Iranian hostage crisis. Not only did he stop, immigration from Iran and certain other countries that were sympathetic to Iran, but he deported Iranians. You had FDR, and I know that, we have people today say, well, FDR was kind of wrong about that. But FDR not only stopped immigration from Asia during World War II, he interned those people who were of Asian descent, who were natural-born American citizens. He rounded them all up. But you don't hear the left today slamming FDR for that. But Donald Trump makes a common sense, logical plea to let's put a temporary halt on this until we can figure out who they are and how to deal with them better. Look, I think I was watching this State of the Union address on ABC, and ABC was touting how many arrests that the FBI recently. It was like something like 90 arrests on terrorism recently. 90? Are you kidding? And you guys are out there saying that Donald Trump is a racist, and we're out there. The FBI has arrested 90 people in ongoing terrorism investigations. Now, do you think all 90 of those people are white Christian male? No, they're not. And yet this little tramp from South Carolina, I don't know if she's a tramp. I don't know who the hell she is or where she's from. I don't, she could be a very nice girl. I don't know. But her view, she's got a very skewed and ignorant view of immigration. She's got a very ignorant and skewed view on American history, American political history, American immigration history. And it, was it, somebody asked me recently what the issue was in this. Well, actually, it was on I do believe yesterday afternoon on the right group. What the big issue was with the American people. how could we turn things around? And I said the big thing, the biggest problem that we had in this country was lack of education. I mean, lack of real education. We got a bunch of kids trying to go to college or going to college, and they're spending all this money going to college, and they're not really learning anything. They're getting these fake degrees. They're getting these stupid degrees. They're getting these useless degrees, which is why they cannot find a job after they get out of college, because business owners, business CEOs, hiring managers, they all understand what the degrees really are, and they're looking at, you have this degree. We know what the curriculum is. You're still an idiot. You know nothing. You're useless to us. Look, I'm telling you, if you're about to go into college, if you're going to go to college, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, you still have time to change. If you're a junior or senior in high school, keep this in mind. You need to stick to taking only real courses. You need to stay away from those stupid courses like, gender studies and women's studies and queer studies and, historical European underwater watercolor art. Get rid of that stuff. Do not put that on. Get it off your list. Get it off your schedule. Take real classes that have some real depth and meaning. I know that some of these other classes are probably easy A's for you. They're easy 3.8, 3.9, 4.0 classes. Fine. But let me tell you something. That easy class, and if you have enough of them, is going to harm you in the future when you go out there to get a job, because your employer is going to start asking, your future employer is going to start asking, okay, what do you know about this? And you're not going to know because you didn't take the class. Well, what classes did you take? Well, I took this, this, and this. What class are you most proud of? And somebody's going to say, well, the American female lesbian gender studies or what have you. And the employer is going to sit there, he's going to laugh at himself a little bit, probably even puke in his mouth a little bit, and say, thank you, we'll be in touch, and you'll never get the call back. Because you're absolutely useless to him. You got to understand this. Look, I've hired people. I've fired people. I know the deal when it comes to look. I've written resumes for other people. I understand what an employer is looking for. And I'm telling you that the employers today, one of the reasons why we have this issue with H-1B1 is not just because the labor is cheaper. I know we like to say that, and that is a big issue because I know, like in Disney was, ordering some of their people to train their own replacements, and that has happened. The biggest issue is that in certain areas in this country, we do not have the educated people to fill those positions. We don't have enough of them. Because we don't have a real educational system in this country anymore. That is our country's biggest problem. It is education. And I related that when I was watching binge watching the documentary, Making a Murderer. Yes, I watched it. And yes, I have an opinion about the whole thing. And it's a surprising opinion, by the way. But I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm going to give people a chance to watch it. I'll wait a week or two. Because this is getting some blowback from all over the place now. People are talking about this left and right, and people are. It's a 10-hour, it's 10 episodes, an hour an episode, so it's 10 hours. So I got to give people a chance to see it without, blowing the ending, because it's important. But one of the things that I noticed while watching this documentary, and it's not just them in Wisconsin, but the people are just too ignorant to know how to properly fight back. And I mean they're ignorant because their education system is so lacking. And this is not just the case for Wisconsin. This is all over this country. People, your regular everyday people are too damn ignorant to really be able to put up an intelligent fight against the establishment. And that's done on purpose, folks. But at the same time, when you dumb down your population in a world where education is seen as paramount, and other nations are really putting the effort into educating their population, and you're dumbing down your population, you are now setting yourself up for not being able to compete in the world economy. You're not going to be able to compete on the world stage. So I don't care what your immigration policy is. If you have a nation of people that are idiots, you're going to need to import people in order to take care of the jobs that you need as a nation in order to stay on top or at least stay competitive. Now, these poor people were just too, I don't want to use the word stupid, but they're uneducated. And it is not their fault that they're uneducated. You start dumbing down a population, and they're not going to know that they're missing out on a lot. They're going to realize that they're not sophisticated or complicated people. They're going to tell you, well, we're just simple folk. But that is just something that they've been told. You're simple folk. Yeah, we're simple folk. We don't, we're not complicated. We're just simple folk. Because somebody who's educated tells them that they're simple in order to keep them uneducated. And if you're uneducated, you cannot easily fight against an educated person. And this is the problem from county to county to county all over this country. This is how we get people running around saying, Donald Trump, you're a racist. This is how we get Obama elected and reelected. This really is about education, folks. Don't doubt me on that. And when I hear a story of somebody saying that Donald Trump is a racist because he simply proposed something that other presidents have either proposed and or done, and some presidents have done in a much harsher fashion than Trump is proposing, but yet Trump is the racist, I know it is a factor and due strictly and only to ignorance. When you have a bunch of women and a bunch of gays who say that they love Muslims and they support Muslims, that is due to ignorance. Now, in some cases, it's just due to plain stupidity. But in most cases, it's due to, do you know that they still, go to a gay pride parade. Hey, do you know that Muslims still, in certain countries like Iran and other Muslim countries, they still behead and hang gay people or anybody who commits sodomy? No, they don't. Yeah, they do. And you're supporting them. Okay, women that support Islam, that is just stupidity. I'm sorry. I mean, how can you not know what they do to women? How can you not know? Well, I tell you why women jump on. You see those videos, and you look at them, and they're supposed to be meant as humorous. They're supposed to be funny videos. But I see a lot of these videos that are popping up where these guys, these comedians and these funny people and these, what do they, I don't know what they call them. I forget the term. But they just go, man on the street stuff. They go out there and they talk to these people. And they ask them, some really, really obviously to a halfway intelligent person who's halfway paying attention. They ask them obvious questions. They'll throw them a little curveball. Like, hey, Hillary Clinton seems to think that Sharia law is the way to go. What do you think? Yeah, I think Sharia law would be really good for the USA. Are you kidding me? You don't even know what Sharia law is then, do you? Well, that's not lack of education. That's just plain stupidity. Because if you're not, I don't know how you're not paying attention in this age of terrorist attacks, terrorism, mass shootings in the United States, the war on terror. How can you not know? Are you that into the Kardashians that the rest of the world means nothing to you? Look, that's just, there is such a thing as ignorance because you have not been educated or educated properly, and then there's just stupidity because you're just not paying attention. So, frankly, that little girl, I don't know how big or small she was, but Jane visiting from South Carolina calling Trump a racist, Maybe you're not ignorant. Maybe you are just plain stupid.